Hi, my name is Gary, and I am a recordholic. Are you? Let me know in the comments below. Welcome to Recordholics Anonymous. My name is Gary Grederson, and who am I? Well, I grew up in New York, Long Island to be specific. I've lived there most of my life, and now I live in Ohio. For most of my entire adult life and most of my teen years, I have been completely obsessed with music. I was born in 1983, so I am, yes, 40 years old. I just turned 40 in September. And when I grew up, music was shifting. The access to music for me was on cassette and CD. And that's how I got introduced into listening to music, was on the radio, cassette, and CD. So I grew up collecting cassettes and CDs like crazy. My dad had a record collection, and he had a turntable that he used. So I was introduced to that a little bit when I was younger. I didn't really fully understand it though. Plus, when he really was using it the most was when I was really little. And our house had this really wobbly floor, and running around always made the record player skip, so my dad eventually just put it in storage because we were just lunatic children. So when I graduated high school, I went into college for audio recording technology at Five Towns College on Long Island in New York. I studied for 4 years to become a recording engineer, and ever since then I have devoted my life to recording and producing music and just being around music, doing live sound, meeting artists. I did tours. I did all kinds of cool things that I am so happy I had the chance to do. I mean, music is truly my entire life, and I have really devoted my whole life to making music, being around music, sharing in other people making music. It's just a huge passion of mine. And I created Recordholics Anonymous to have a place for me to connect with other people who have that same deep passion. Whether they make music or they just listen to it, or, it doesn't matter. The passion is what's really, truly important, for me, at least. So that's a little bit about me. Obviously I was in bands and stuff when I was a kid. I played guitar and bass and drums, and I love to sing. It's fun. Once I got really into recording and production, my focus went there for a really, really long time. So, we're talking 20 plus years that I've been doing music production in some form or fashion. And things have changed a lot over that time. So, I just have enjoyed the ride quite a bit, and I'm certainly not done with any of that. I've had some really amazing times with that. Traveling, I had a great friend that I worked with, and she kind of had this crazy idea for us to go to London, and we did a recording project at Abbey Road Studios. Cool things have come into my life in this pursuit of just, making music and surrounding myself with musicians and music, and it's just been really amazing. So that's really like a little bit about me. I could get into much more detail, but that's just kind of my background. How did I get into record collecting, though? That's the question, right? So I owned a studio on Long Island, started building it in like 2011, something like that. Took me years to build it. Went through all sorts of crazy things throughout that time. But I was rebuilding it at one point after a small flood. And, that was a lot of work. I spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and I had picked up 2 other jobs. I was just going crazy, just trying to get everything back together. And one day I finally had off. Now I had purchased 2 or 3 records many years prior to this, while I was on tour with a band, friend of mine's band that he brought me in to play bass for the tour, and we stopped in a record shop in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and it was a really cool store, big store. And I didn't own a turntable or any records, but we were there and I was just looking around because we were waiting to load in for the show, which was up the street. And it was just like so cool. I couldn't help it. I bought like 3 records and they just sat in my closet, you know? But anyway, years went by after that. I was working in the studio and I was rebuilding the studio and everything. And I finally had a day off because it was the 4th of July. I finally had a day off. I mean, I was working every single day. And I decided to meet up with a friend of mine, Mike, who I hadn't seen in a long time. And now, at this point, I haven't seen him in a long time either. So we had arranged to meet up. I went over his place and we had a little barbecue and stuff. It was cool. But on the way, I stopped at this thrift store. I saw an ad for it, and I just was like, I gotta check it out. So I stop in this store on the way to Mike's house. As soon as I walk in, it was a huge store. It went all the way back, like really far. And then there was like a little hallway there in the middle, like a door, and that went further back. So this place was huge, and I walk in, and as soon as I start walking past the desk, I look back to the corner of the first area before you go further back, and in the corner is this huge shelf, and there was like another shelf on the side, and they were like kind of catty-cornered a little bit. And I see in the corner this shelf, and it is just packed with records, like packed. This whole entire corner is just records. And if you saw it, your heart would drop, okay? Because I saw it and immediately felt like pain. The way that the records were on the shelves was almost as if a dump truck backed up and dumped everything onto the shelves. It was shocking. I felt something in that moment. And again, I had owned like 3 records and I didn't even own a turntable. And this was like 2015, I think. And I immediately just went straight to the corner, because even though I wasn't at that point collecting records, I loved music my whole life. So to see music there like that was like offensive, you know? Like it hurt me. I felt hurt. And I zoomed back there into the corner. Of course, I discovered also that part of that side shelf was a lot of cassette tapes and CDs as well. I just started digging. When I was just picking up piles and leafing through them, and some of them were not in sleeves. Some of them, you know, the sleeves were all beat up. Like, it was a mess. But I will say there were some gems in there. There were some cool things that when I saw, I don't remember exactly what they were, but when I saw them, I was like, oh, I need to have this. I don't know why, but I need to have this, you know? And I started making a pile, you know? And it almost felt like I had to rescue these records. And it kind of felt like when you black out, you know? Something just happens and you don't know what's going on. You're just doing something and all of a sudden it's over and you're like, what just happened? Like, it felt like that. It felt exactly like that, actually. And all of a sudden I snap out of it and I'm standing at the counter with a stack of records in my hand like this, you know? Like, where do I put these? So I left there and I went to Mike's house and I was like, dude, I just bought like a whole ton of records. I don't know why, but I did. It turned out, you know, I hadn't really seen him in a while, but it turned out that he was collecting records at at that point as well, and that he had inherited a collection from his stepfather, and that he was, going through it, and he showed me some of it, and it was a really cool experience that we then sort of again bonded on, where, music has always been a bond for us as friends, and that was another one of those things that we connected on, which was really cool. I was like, I don't even have a turntable, man. So we had a good laugh about that, because I'm like, I don't know how this happened, but I was in the thrift shop and I just came out with all this, So it was really interesting. But of course, that night I went home, I went on my phone, and I went immediately on Amazon and ordered a turntable. I ordered a turntable and various other things with it, a case to put records in. What I can really say about that experience, though, is that I feel like it was coming down the pike, because I had been in the studio with a lot of different newer artists that were like much different than what I had been used to working with, and they kind of were pushing me to do sampling, which I didn't really ever do much of up to that point in my career. Mostly was working with people who, played instruments, myself playing some, using MIDI, instruments, but nothing ever really sampled. And so this now was a new sort of thing I was involved in, and I had been very inspired by it, which was kind of really cool for me. And so perfect storm, I'm there, I see that, this whole thing happens, and I go crazy. So I think what was happening in my head was like, I need to save these records, and I also need to sample them. So after this all happened, I set up my turntable, everything, I started going crazy, because now I started playing around with the records I bought, sampling them, messing around with them, the speed and the pitch and everything. So I became obsessed with collecting whatever I could, getting my hands on anything I could get my hands on, So Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, all that, I'm just hunting every single day. Who's selling their collection and how cheap can I get it for? I'll give you $30 for that, and it's like 100, 200 records or something, The problem with this is that I just was going on this tear for months, buying people's collections. And I ended up having, thousands of records. A lot of them were like trashed, beat up, whatever. So that was a problem. That was a problem when I needed to move and leave New York to move to Ohio. I needed to sell as many of them as I could. And that was a problem to do, given that so many of them were like beat up, and certainly not popular types of records, because again, I just bought whatever people were selling. Oh, I'll take it. It's a whole collection. There's probably something good in there, and there definitely was good stuff in all these things that I bought. But what I discovered, though, and that I was hoping to create, and I started to until my studio flooded again and got destroyed in 2021. But what I was creating was an environment where I could be with someone who's a new artist, who's, rapper, singer, anything like that. Mainly like solo artists. That's what I usually work with. Any style. But I would basically, when we're trying to make something new, I would have them go through my collection, which was insanely massive in the studio, which I built in an empty warehouse. Go and pick out whatever speaks to you. Pick up like a little stack, 4 or 5 records, tapes, CDs, whatever you find. Go and pick it out and bring it in. Could be a book. I have a lot of books there too. I wanted to have all this stuff there so that someone coming in to make new music with me would be inspired by something, right? an old record, an old tape, an old CD, a book, something. Be inspired. Now we could take that, we can listen to it, we can look at the artwork, we can study it, the artist, whatever. We can do all of that. We don't have to sample it, but we can also. That was so magical because having all that stuff there made it so creative. It opened up creativity like I had never really seen. When someone comes in, we're like, all right, let's try and make a song. Like, okay, well, I could play these notes, or we can get inspired by something and then play these notes, right? So that was crazy, and I became obsessed. That's why one day I had this crazy idea when I was taking a shower of Recordholics Anonymous, because I thought that I was like an addict collecting all this stuff. It became intrusive in my life, like absolutely intrusive. Constantly trying to find where to put all these boxes and crates, getting shelves set up and all kinds of, crazy stuff like that. One day I was like picturing in my head a meeting of people sitting around a turntable, and we're all and there's a record playing, and we're like tweaking because the record is just like the addiction. And it felt right, something about it felt really right. So I thought, oh, well, I could make a cool t-shirt, that had, this image of like a meeting, and that would just be a cool thing I could maybe sell or something. But I had no idea that there were so many other people that resonated so much with that idea, with the concept of being hooked and completely addicted to records. Because once I started putting that name out there, I noticed that people resonated with it. You get a good laugh out of it. I think it's hilarious. So I tried to get somebody to design a t-shirt. It really didn't work out well. And then one day I was on a walk with my friend Peter, and I was like, hey man, you're an artist. Let's partner up and we'll make a cool thing, and you can help me design some t-shirts and all that, and it might be cool. So we sat down, we worked on a few things, made a cool logo and everything, and I made a Facebook page, and I thought, okay, well, let me run an ad and just to get people to like the page and see kind of what happens. And all of a sudden, a lot of people started liking the page. And not only that, but connecting with each other. Really connecting with each other. So when I post things, people are really connecting with each other in the comments and with the posts and everything. And I was like, wow, okay. So in my head, I go, what is Recordholics Anonymous then? Is it just a cool idea for a t-shirt? Or is it something entirely different? It's something entirely different, completely. So it was not long, a month or two, whatever. I realized that this is something way different than just a merch shop, which really got obviously I'm wearing one of the shirts, but it's just a logo because I just think that's cool. And we have a lot of cool t-shirts, and obviously, I invite you to check them out. But Recordholics Anonymous is so much more, I think, than that. It is, I realize that the people who are connecting about all the record collecting and everything are obsessed with the music. And what I find is that the biggest reason people love the vinyl is that they connect with the music more deeply. So what's the real thing here? Is it the record or is it the music? It's the music. I think so, at least. And so we're all here in this group connecting with music together. So I think Recordholics Anonymous is a place, like a sort of virtual place, but hopefully not always virtual, hopefully real. Something that I can make real. A place for music-obsessed people like myself to connect with each other. For whatever reason they connect with the music, or the records, or the tapes, or the CDs, or whatever it is, the music is the essence. And that's how I see it. If you see it differently, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. I had to spend some time away from this, but I've always been so passionate about this that I wanted to share this with everyone that I possibly could. So right now, I'm starting on a whole new journey. What do I have planned for the future? Well, a lot of things. And obviously we all know that, we can make plans and things around us change, and all that. But I have goals, I have plans, I have dreams. I'm not that old yet. I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. And so I would like to transform Recordholics Anonymous into something real, where I can connect with people all over the world, not just on Facebook, but in person. Where we can meet each other. I can have meetings, literal Recordholics Anonymous meetings. That's what I want in the future. I want to work on this full time. I want this to be my life, and it will be. I plan on it. Right now, I'm devoted to putting in the effort to find a way to lift this out of obscurity, sort of, and turn it into something that we can all share together. I hope you'll join me on this journey. Some of the best things you can do right now to join me and support me in this endeavor is to just follow along. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you don't miss anything that I post, because I have some cool things I want to try out in the way of videos, because I like making videos too. I may not be an actual video, professional, but I have a cool camera. I have shot cool videos in the past, just out of necessity, in a lot of cases. So I would like to maybe pull from some of that stuff I've done in the past and put together some cool things for me and for you, and so something we can connect with. I have a passion for music. I have a passion for making music, for collaborating and making music with other people. I have a passion for travel as well, and I would love to go cool places. So my goals for this channel and for this organization is to take this as many cool places as I can around the world. Obviously, provided that we're talking about safe locations that I could visit, but I would like to go a lot of places and meet cool people, make music, check out record stores, and I want to take you along for that journey as well. So for right now, I'm trying to just get the ball rolling. So I'm going to do some videos like this at home to kind of start things and connect with you guys, so that maybe you can sort of direct me a little into what you want to see, what your thoughts are on everything. So please let me know down below what you are thinking about this. But these are my plans. This is what I want to do. I want to make music, listen to music, check out new music, meet artists, meet producers, check out recording studios, record stores, all that. And I want to take you along for the ride. So basically, that's it. I want to do cool things. I want you to join me, and I hope you'll join me. And really, right now, the best way to support me is to just follow along. Watch the videos, like them, check them out. Let me know if I'm doing something crazy or stupid or what. Or that if you love what's going on, what I'm doing, and you want to support me, and there'll be ways, there'll always be ways, that I'll include links and things. But the best way and the most free and easy way is to just like the video, subscribe, watch the videos, check out new videos, share them, and comment and let me know your thoughts and all that. That's really it. I'm hoping to really make this my life. I want to bring in some other people. I want this to be something cool. Have meetings. I think it would be amazing. That's me. That's Recordholics Anonymous in a quick little nutshell. I hope this finds you well. I hope that you follow along, stick with me, and you'll be, if you're here in the beginning, you'll be here, and you can always say that you were here, and that would be cool, right? Just to think, like, when everything moves forward and goes where it should be, you were here in the beginning. And some of you were really here way before even this. And I appreciate you so much. You know who you are. I'm hoping to get back to the old days of the live streams and, connecting with you guys. That was some of the best times that I had, was connecting with you. And doing live streams and checking out new music and learning about new things and new things about old artists and all kinds of cool stuff that was happening. I want to do that again. I want to bring that back, but in a sustainable way. Okay, so I thank you very much for checking out this video. I hope you'll like and subscribe and comment and all the cool things. I hope you'll join me on this journey. So I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.